Our next session coming up will be from Lenovo. So basically we have Daniel Morris. He's the lead HCI and SDI specialist for Lenovo Australia New Zealand, and he will be giving us his rundown on HCI, VDI and Edge platforms the way you want it. So thanks very much. Daniel, take it away.
Thank you very much. My name's Daniel Morris. I look after our Nutanix relationship at Lenovo. I've been here for nearly 5 years now, and we've been a partner of Nutanix now for nearly 6 years, and we've got a lot of joint customers across the country. I'm actually based up here in Brisbane, so it would have been nice to see everyone face to face. You know, we were going to have a booth next to Nutanix in the physical bit, and we were actually going to have a golf driving feature in the middle of us. So I was actually really looking forward to playing golf, but still, that's all right. We're here as a bit of a make-up for that. We're going to have a giveaway of two of these tablets here. So I'm just going to do 2 simple quizzes at the end of my presentation. There's no real easy way of doing it. So whoever answers first in the chat and gets it right will win yourself a tablet. So like what Matt said before, make sure you get your name right, or we won't know who you are. Now, just quickly, Lenovo is a big beast. Some of you may know it well, maybe not, but the Lenovo IDG team, the laptop side of the business, is the largest PC and laptop provider in the globe. That is a massive part of our business, but I am part of the ISG, which is the Infrastructure Solutions Group, which is things like Nutanix, data center, AI, ML, HPC, that sort of stuff. And then now we've got a shared services and solutions group across that goes across both companies. The reason why I'm starting with this is not how we've been over the last 5 years. It's been sort of two companies under one Lenovo. Now we are seeing that we're calling it one Lenovo, where we are actually coming together. So I guess for BES as a partner and for you guys as customers, where it's going to help is the idea, well, you know, even though Matt in his previous presentation said infrastructure is boring, we still need devices, we still need infrastructure, we still need tires on our car to make it go. So by able to come to you, and this is what this presentation is about now, with, I guess, more holistic solutions that go all the way from, you know, your pocket all the way through the cloud, that's where we're aiming as a company now. And as far as, oops, my button didn't work, there we go. As far as where my team sits, where the infrastructure team sits, these are our 4 pillars that we care about. So for you as customers, when you're talking with BES, and you've got a problem, these are what we're aiming at. And these 4 pillars fit very, very well with what Matt talked about and with where HCI has been and where it's going. So cloud computing, AI, ML, Edge, and as a service, right? So if you think about where HCI sits, what Matt talked about, we need that hybrid cloud connection. We need it to be able to run workloads at the edge. And at the edge, I want to be doing real-time analytics, whether it might be CCTV, I might be doing some sort of AI controlling. And more people are looking for this as a service, right? Consumption modeling, pay as you use, those sort of services. So that's our focus as Lenovo. Like if you think about it from today, we've got the one Lenovo with the broader thing, and then from an infrastructure perspective, these are our focuses. And in particular with HCI, Matt sort of talked about in the last presentation, is we've spent I started doing Nutanix stuff back in 2012. So it's been going for a while now, but back then the conversation was about why HCI? Why would I do something different, right? I've 3 tiers worked for 20 years. Why would I do anything different? And we've sort of gone through and encouraged people, like, and what Matt was going through in that presentation was now the conversation needs to be further up the stack, but you still need the infrastructure to be solid. You can't have downtime. You can't have long-term outages. Everyone's finding those problems with things like ransomware at the moment, where you can architect the hell out of your environment, but if you let someone come in and cause a problem of that scale, no matter what planning you've got to react. So as we put more and more important workloads on these platforms, reliability, performance is really important. And so the conversation has evolved. You see there, so now we're talking Kubernetes, we're talking containerization, we're talking being able to move workloads and develop for a single platform. Matt talked about Nutanix Calm before, where we're looking for standardization and automation in terms of what we're dealing with infrastructure. But then the next step from that is this expand, where, and every vendor will be talking about the hybrid. This idea of, okay, fine, I've got some workloads in the cloud. I may need some workloads at the edge. And this is where Lenovo comes in as an infrastructure provider. Where are our skills, right? Making hardware and our supply chain, our performance, and obviously our reliability, right? That's sort of the pillars that we sit in. And with this hybrid cloud piece now, there are multi-clouds, but, and I'll go through in a second, with the edge coming up, you can't have, there's no way, there's not many customers out there, and I'm sure you're the same, like Matt said, where you're going to be 100% cloud. You might be using multi-cloud, you might have some on-prem, and more, and this is what we're seeing as an infrastructure provider, is that need for the edge, right? Just whether it's 5G coming, they want to do some real-time analytics. We've got some concepts internally called stores as a service, where we're providing fully outsourced and automated IT for stores. Think of it like checkouts, scanners, those sort of things. But I just thought I'd put the magic quadrant up here. Whether you like it or not, Nutanix has been #1 in this quadrant ever since the day it was released. In terms of where Lenovo sits with Nutanix, like I said, we've been an OEM partner now for 6 years. We have a dedicated team inside Lenovo that sells Nutanix. So myself, Charlie Lee, and John Wood down in Melbourne, and we're the only hardware vendor in the market that actually has people out there selling Nutanix. So we've got skills to size, obviously to solution, deploy, deliver, and support after it's been done. So we are quite tight with Nutanix when it comes to this, and this is where it's important, because we don't own Nutanix, right? We do what we do best, and then we partner with Nutanix, who's the best. HCI have been #1 in the Gartner quadrant for a long time, and that mixed together and that joint engineering is a better outcome for you as a customer. Now, Matt sort of touched on this, but I just want, this is back to the old school. This is one of the first conversations we used to have when we talk about Nutanix, and it's still important, because the bits on the left there, that's what we always talk about with cloud, right? Fractional, continuous innovation, and it's easy to use. Nutanix brought that to infrastructure. So now you could have that simplicity in your own data center, and so you can, and Matt talked about, like, as people become more generalists and they need to have more skills across more products, and it's getting harder to find people in the market with those specializations, by having this sort of platform, and this is where our integration with Nutanix works when it comes to deployment and firmware management, we can make it as easy as possible. Now, on the right there, you can see there, especially balance owning and renting. I've got a piece on that in a second, but we have an as a service model called Truescale, where we're getting a lot of attention for that at the moment. There's competing platforms in the market. You probably heard of GreenLake from HP and the one from Dell. I've forgotten, brain freeze. But we're all doing it, and people are asking more and more for it. It's been difficult to deliver, but we're finding we've now got the model pretty good. And from the device side of our business, it's called Device as a Service, or DAS. That is the fastest growing piece of Lenovo globally. We are now people are saying to us, hey, we've got devices in our organization, we've got meeting rooms now in our organization, we don't want to manage it, take the pain away, we'll just pay per user per month. And so with this, quickly, I won't spend a lot of time on this. Matt went through it with Nutanix, but if you're interested, Nutanix holds local boot camps here in Queensland. They're all around the country. We also do some enablement sessions if you need. Nutanix is the platform for everything you see on the screen. And so Matt had it in one of his slides there, but we started off with, we're making infrastructure simple so you can run your VM workloads, especially VDI. It has now grown to be pretty much any workload you can think of inside the data center, you can now run on this platform. And you'll see it when I show the hardware models. It doesn't matter what model it is, it's still the same software. It's still supported the same way. We're just using different infrastructure components for the right workloads, right? Smaller stuff for the edge, maybe bigger stuff for databases. We've got some quite large SQL environments that run on-prem on Nutanix and some of our customers, because when we did the TCO, it just made more sense to have it in the on-prem, right? From a performance and basically a cost per IO perspective. Now, the title of the presentation was obviously VDI and Edge. So we've come to market with a joint solution with Nutanix called Lenovo Truescale for hosted desktops with Nutanix. Now, that was a very creative name. That's actually the official name. But what it really is like we said, the one Lenovo, we have the EUC devices, the end devices. We've obviously got the partnership with Nutanix, and then we've got the infrastructure, the HX platform to actually run Nutanix. And then we have this construct called Truescale, which is that managed service, which is giving us the consumption model. So what we've done is we've come to market, we've partnered with Nutanix, and we've got a, oh, sorry, I've left it off that slide, but what it is it's a turnkey VDI environment. So you might say, hey, I've got 300 users. It has to be on-prem for whatever reason. It can't be in the cloud. I want to have my laptops. I want to have it all fully managed. I want to have it imaged in your factory, and I want it to run on top of Nutanix with Nutanix Frame, or for bigger environments with Citrix. And so that's what we've come to market with. And so we've got a lot of customers at the moment talking about that. And here, these dollars are in US, right? So it's not it's just indicative for you, but that gives you an idea. These are the conversations that we're having now, where we're not saying, oh, hey, you need that box to run this, good luck, see you later. This is turning around and going, I can give you end-to-end VDI per user for around about the $55 US user per month, right? So that's the Windows license on the box, that's the deployment, that's the support. Obviously, it's the Nutanix kit, the hypervisor, the broker, the whole solution, and then it's all supported by one number. So this is the first of these that we brought to market. We're going to be bringing more and more and more, but you can sort of see so even though we're just boring old infrastructure, these are the things that we're doing, and we're enabling Nutanix, where, you know, software is great, but you can sort of see from the giveaway at the beginning, you can't give away software. Oh, actually, people would like that, but Nutanix won't do it. Now with Truescale, we've got longer sessions on this. If you're interested, please reach out to the BES team, and we can go through and take you through it. We've got specialists in country and region that really can go down into the deep financial parts of this. But the idea of it is, it's a managed service from us. You pick what layer you want us to manage to, right? The hypervisor, or just to the hardware, or whatever else. We monitor that over time, and then we give you a per month, and we can do it per user, we can do it per node or per core, or we've got a few where we're doing it by power consumption. So if you're interested in that, please reach out. Now with the Edge, everyone talks about Edge, but does it really apply to me? The answer is, if it doesn't yet, it will at some point, right? So you can see some examples there. A lot of it is around CCTV and AI and ML, but where we're getting, like, I guess the opportunities that we're working on at the moment are mostly around, we might have a couple of nodes at site, and it's running either a mission critical environment, or it might be running some manufacturing, or it might be point of sale, which is where we've got the most examples. But more and more and more now, we're being asked to put GPUs into our servers, so that they can do real-time analytics and analysis on video streams. And we've actually got a box here in market. Now, I think on your screen I look a little tiny, so this might be hard, but that little box there, I'm not sure if you can see it, is this one here. So we call it a HX 1021, right? So this can do 4G, 5G, Wi-Fi. At the moment, we're going to do 10 gig worth of Ethernet, but soon we'll be able to do 25 gig. This thing is a single socket CPU. We can have, I think, a 32 gig of RAM. We can have, I think it's about, at the moment with Nutanix, it's about 12 terabytes usable. When we deploy it, we have to deploy it with Nutanix. We can do it in one node or two node. I mean, you can do more if you want, but typically it's one node, two node. And this sort of form factor, this sort of solution is where you're going to see more and more products come from us, right? Especially smaller ones. Not so much on Nutanix at the moment, but as the capacity gets better in them, we'll be doing more. But it's still got fans, so we can't. You can see it at the back. It's still got fans, so we can't mount it outside yet. We have some models coming that we will be able to. And where we see this really kicking some butt is around telco, 5G, where you're going to need some compute right next to the network. So good little box. Like I said, I live in Queensland, so if you want to check it out, just please let the BES team know. Moving on. Now, obviously, we're a hardware provider. This is for the latest Intel CPUs that have just come to market. They've actually been released. We've got them inside of our servers now. What we've done is we have qualified it for our Think Agile HX platform, which is our Nutanix platform. So we should have that. We actually can quote it up now. We should be able to sell it in a couple of weeks. So if you're interested in this, what is it? Same with every Intel release. It's better. It's faster. It can have more cores. Probably the key thing here is this PCIe Gen 4 support, right? So we now can put a lot more stuff inside the server, in particular GPUs. Now, we used to have just one single box that would take a GPU. It was a 2U node. We now can put a GPU in every node in our portfolio. And this, like I said, comes back to the fact that now people either want accelerated VDI, they want accelerated AI, or they want to do some real-time stuff at the edge. And so that's where we're going with that. You can see up the top here in the blue, we used to have a thing called AnyBay in our servers, if you've ever used Lenovo server, where we had a bracket where you could put NVMe drives wherever you wanted into, and it was quite useful, but we couldn't do it across the entire server. Now with the extra performance that we're driving out of this and the motherboard changes that they've made, we now can fill an entire node full of NVMe. And so Nutanix has made some changes in their platform over the last couple of years to take advantage of NVMe and really drive the performance out of that. And the price point of these drives have really dropped. So if you are looking at this and you're interested, we can help you with the price, but the bang for buck and the sheer performance we can drive out of these nodes now is incredible. If you're familiar with Lenovo, we have a thing called xClarity. That's our out-of-band management. That all stays the same. So if you've got an environment already now with some Lenovo in it, this will just slot in just fine. This is Intel calls it V3. So this is the last of this generation, and then the next one that we release will actually be a new platform. So this will fit in well with your existing environments. These are what the nodes look like. Just a whole bunch of black rectangles, really. But this is just to highlight to you that different sized nodes for the workload, right? Like I said, same software across the entire stack. We support the entire stack the same way. We do have support for AMD, okay? Don't have a lot of it out there at the moment, but a lot of people are asking about it. We have much more flexibility when it comes to Intel at the moment. And you can see here, we've got the little edge box in the corner. Now, next steps. Obviously, we're all locked down. Like I said, sadly, we're not together. As part of this, we couldn't get out and see the customers, and so what we did was we created in conjunction with Nutanix, a user group called HExpert, which is basically a community with HX customers, and linking it in with obviously us, but also Nutanix and also Lenovo support and engineering. So we're just trying to I guess half build a community, but also shorten the path to when there's a problem, right? So and this is the questions I sort of get a lot is, when's the next version of this firmware coming out? Hey, I made this change, it didn't work. And what we can do is we can bring in people with the expertise, right? If it's a situation where, well, actually, no, we need to get someone out on site, we can go and talk to BES, explain to them what the problem is, and they can come out. It's really just trying to share the knowledge and not make you feel like, hey, I bought something, then they left me behind. So if you are a customer, if you're not part of this, please just let me know. There's a link to apply there down the bottom. Now, again, as part of the awareness, as part of the, I guess, yeah, because we can't go and see anyone, we've created a couple of social aspects to it. So we've obviously HExpert, it's via Microsoft Teams, if you guys are familiar with that. We have created a YouTube channel called Think Expert. So if you just do a search for Think Expert, right, with the X, you'll be able to see that and what's on Twitter. We've been putting webinars like this, specialized sessions, especially on Truescale, deep dives on the VDI. We've gone through some of the other solutions. We're about to put something up for xClarity, I guess a technical deep dive on that. So just have a search for that, and you'll be able to find out more information on Think Expert. And that's really kind of about it. I can't, I don't know if any of the Q&As is for me. Here we are. Is there an Amd option? Like I mentioned before, yes, there is. So it's only the 1RU version at the moment. But we're in talks with AMD at the moment with the next generation of that, which I don't have a timeline for it yet, but it'll be more like probably end of the year, beginning next year. We're going to have a whole bunch of other models. So if it's an important thing to have and you need it earlier, I have fortnightly catch-ups with our engineering team in the US. We sort of give them feedback from the field, and if it's a worthy enough cause, we actually can get them to focus on a certain technology. So if it's something that you think you need, just let me know. And the other question is, any multi-node chassis options coming there? Well, I'll just go back to my slide. We have this one here. Oops, sorry, I'm blocking the screen there. We have this node here, which is like the old Nutanix 2U4 node chassis. We can still sell that one. It hasn't been, a lot of people aren't asking for it. It's not going to be refreshed into the new CPU range. So that box there is typically more used in our HPC environments, because we can put a GPU in that chassis and we can water cool it, and that's sort of the direction the company went. And we tend to sell more the 1RU nodes, because then you end up with multiple failure domains. Whereas with a chassis, if you've got one chassis, 4 nodes, and the chassis fails, or the power in that chassis fails, or whatever happens, you lose 4 nodes, you lose your cluster. So at least by having individual nodes, let's say something goes wrong with a node, someone kicks out the power, you only lose 1 node, and Nutanix can do its thing and self-heal. I think, that's the only questions? That's the only questions, but if you've got anything else, throw it in here. But we'll just get to the Q&A. Now, if you're listening, there we go. Unfortunately, this is a race. There's not really a better way to do this, but hopefully you're ready. But I've kept it pretty easy if you're paying attention. So the first one is the little box I have behind me, the little small box. It had a model number. Do you remember what the model number was? And this might get a few people because I said it quickly. Well, it is a HX box, but what's the, Grant's nearly got it. Oh. what's the next 2 numbers? Maybe I made it too hard. Oh, look, Grant got pretty close to it. It was the HX 1021, right? And so the 10 is the model number, the 20 is the generation of the CPU, and the 1 at the end is our decoupled hardware software model. So what we call certified node. So good work, Grant. You can't win the next one, sorry. But next question. This one's going to be super quick, so be ready. What was the name of our as a service offering? Did Chris have that cut and paste or what? There we go. Well done, Chris. Bang, look at that. Well done. Okay, great. If I'll work with Alexandra, and I've got both your names there. We'll make sure that we get this to you. But thank you very much for listening. You can sort of see there we had a short amount of time just to want to give you an idea of where we're heading, right, and where we're heading with Nutanix. If you've got any questions, we'll be around. And like I said, I'm actually based up here in Queensland if you want us to come out and have a chat. So thank you very much for your time. Thanks, guys and girls.
Thanks very much, Daniel, for that presentation. Always some good information in there, and for people even like myself, it's great to see the transformation, a bit like I even said with Nutanix. I've been in the IT industry a long time, and you have this preconceived idea of what Lenovo is. And obviously, I think for most people, if you walk down the street and ask them what it was, they'd think laptops. If you've been in IT a little while, we obviously think server, hardware. And then, it's always great to see all the other things that make up these companies these days. And even for myself recently, I was working with a school, and I was really interested to see that the software that the school was choosing, which was Land School, was also now purchased by Lenovo. So, even for myself, that was really surprising to see the push that Lenovo is making into that software side of it as well. And just the broadness that is the sector that we have to do these days to, I suppose, stay competitive. But always great to see what's on offer there. So thanks very much for your time on that one.